The bell rang sharply across the busy school corridor, but Zara barely noticed. She clutched her books tightly to her chest as she tried to slip through the throng of students. Her face was pale, her eyes downcast, and the long scars across her left cheek and neck made her feel like a target wherever she went. The whispers had started again, soft voices, growing louder as she passed by. "Look at her face," one girl sneered. "Who even lets someone like her into school? She looks like she survived a fire or something," another said with a cruel laugh. Zara's heart pounded as she hurried toward her classroom, trying to ignore the stares and murmurs. She felt their eyes like knives piercing her skin, reminding her of the accident that had left her with these scars, the accident that took away her family, her childhood, and almost her life. Sitting at her desk, she tried to focus on the teacher's words, but the voices outside haunted her thoughts. "Why don't you just disappear?" someone whispered behind her. She didn't answer. The weight of their mockery was too much. She had grown used to hiding behind layers of silence and solitude, yet deep inside, there was a fiery spark of courage she barely understood herself. That afternoon, the schoolyard was filled with laughter and shouting as students played and joked. Zara watched from the edge, avoiding contact. Suddenly, she saw a boy trip and fall hard to the ground near the basketball court. Before anyone could react, a group of boys began to surround him, pushing and taunting him mercilessly. The boy struggled to get up, but they laughed louder, shoving him again. Something inside Zara snapped. She couldn't stand watching the cruelty anymore. Without thinking, she ran forward and shouted, "Leave him alone." The crowd turned toward her, surprise flashing across their faces. Some laughed. "Look who's talking," one boy jeered. "The scarred girl thinks she's a hero." Zara's voice grew louder, firmer. "You don't get to hurt others just because you think you're strong." Slowly, the crowd parted as the boys backed away, glancing nervously at Zara's fierce expression. The boy on the ground looked up at her with wide eyes. In that moment, Zara felt something shift inside her, a strength she hadn't known she had. But as the moment settled, Zara noticed a man standing at the school entrance, watching. He wore a sharp uniform with medals gleaming on his chest. A general. His eyes were fixed on her, unreadable and intense. When their gazes met, Zara felt a chill run down her spine. Who was he? Why was he here? And what did he know about her? That evening, Zara sat alone in her small room, tracing the outlines of her scars with her fingers. The memory of the accident flooded back, the fire, the screams, the helplessness. Her parents had died trying to save her, leaving her with nothing but pain and questions. She had always hidden from the world, afraid that people would only see her scars and judge her. But today was different. Today she stood up. Today she fought back. As she gazed out the window, the moonlight cast a pale glow on the walls. The general's face lingered in her mind. She wondered who he was and why he seemed to know something about her. The next morning, Zara arrived at school early, trying to prepare herself for the day. She walked past the classrooms, hearing whispers but holding her head high. In the auditorium, a special assembly was underway. The principal announced an important guest, General Kareem Malik, a decorated officer known for his service and courage. The students murmured excitedly. Zara felt her heart beat faster. General Malik entered, his posture strong but his eyes gentle. He scanned the room, and finally his gaze landed on Zara. A hush fell over the crowd. He walked toward the podium and spoke with authority. "I've heard about a young girl in this school who has faced unimaginable pain but still carries courage in her heart. Today, I want to tell you a story about strength, scars, and the truth." Behind them, Zara listened intently as the general shared a story, one she didn't realize was her own. He spoke of a young girl who survived a terrible fire that claimed her family but refused to give up. He talked about bravery that comes from surviving pain, about scars not being marks of shame but badges of honor. As the story unfolded, students looked at Zara differently. The mocking whispers faded into silence. When the assembly ended, General Malik approached Zara quietly. "Zara," he said softly, "you carry a story that can inspire many. You don't have to hide anymore." She looked up, surprised. "How do you know my name?" she asked. He smiled kindly. "Because your story is not just yours. It is the story of courage in the face of darkness." From that day on, things began to change. Some students still stared, but many came to Zara with respect, even admiration. She found a few friends who accepted her scars and her strength. But despite this, shadows loomed. There were whispers behind closed doors, and eyes watching from a distance. Zara sensed that her past was not fully behind her. One afternoon, as Zara was leaving school, she noticed a man in a dark coat standing near the gates. Their eyes met, briefly, and she felt a cold shiver. Who was he? Was he a threat? She quickened her pace, heart racing. When she reached home, she found a letter slipped under the door. No name, no signature, just a simple message. "Not all scars are visible. Be careful." Fear mixed with curiosity gnawed at her. What did this mean? Was her life about to change again? Days passed, and Zara met with General Malik privately. He revealed that he had been following her story because he once served alongside her father, a brave soldier who had died protecting others. He believed Zara had inherited not just scars, but a legacy of strength and truth. "You are more than your scars, Zara," he told her. You have a mission to show the world what real courage looks like. But just as hope grew, danger approached. Someone from Zara's past began sending threats, warning her to stay silent. She had no choice but to prepare. Her fight was far from over. One night, Zara sat in her room, tracing her scars and whispering a promise to herself. I will not be afraid. I will stand tall. Outside, shadows moved, watching, waiting. The story of the scarred girl was only beginning. The world mocked her once. Soon, they would learn who she really was. Zara sat near the window, watching the sky slowly darken. The note she had received 2 days ago was still in her hand, folded so tightly it was beginning to tear. The words repeated in her mind like a warning bell. Not all scars are visible. Be careful. Her heart ached with confusion. She wanted to believe the worst was behind her. She wanted to believe that standing up for herself would finally bring peace. But something felt wrong. Every time she walked home, she noticed footsteps behind her. Every time she opened her locker, she found strange messages written on scrap paper. General Malik had offered her support. He said she was part of something bigger, but what was it? Why were there threats? That evening, she met the general again, this time at a small public library near the edge of town. He sat in a quiet corner, surrounded by old military books and newspapers. He looked up when she entered and nodded gently. Zara, he said, in his calm, serious voice, I need to tell you something that may be hard to hear. She sat down across from him, clutching her bag. Your father didn't die in a normal accident, he said slowly. The explosion was not random. He was targeted. Zara felt her blood freeze. Targeted. He uncovered something dangerous. He tried to protect the truth, but it cost him everything. And now that you've begun to speak up, they're afraid you'll discover it too. But what truth? She asked, her voice barely a whisper. Who are they? Malik leaned closer. A group that's been hiding behind uniforms and power. Corrupt officers, politicians, businessmen. Your father tried to expose them, and now, they know you're alive. They see you as a threat. Zara sat in stunned silence. Her scars weren't just from fire, they were from a war she didn't even know she was part of. Why me? She whispered. I'm just a girl. No, Malik said. You're the daughter of the man who almost brought them down, and you carry something they can't destroy, his spirit. A silence settled between them. Zara felt like her world had turned upside down, but she also felt a strange strength growing in her chest. So what now? She asked. Malik looked at her carefully. Now, we prepare. You learn the truth, you stay alert, and you never let fear silence you. Over the next week, Zara's life changed again. Malik gave her old files, her father's, journals, photos, and names. She studied everything with quiet determination. At school, students noticed her growing confidence. A few girls who once laughed at her now greeted her with small smiles. The boy she saved, Faraz, became her friend. They started eating lunch together, talking about books, about music, and sometimes even about her scars. They don't scare me, he said once, pointing at her cheek. You saved me. That's what I see when I look at you. Zara smiled for the first time in days, but the darkness wasn't gone. One evening, as she left the library, she saw a car parked near the corner. Its windows were tinted black. The engine was running. She felt it in her bones. She was being watched. She walked faster. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. One message. Stop digging, or you'll burn like your father. Her hands trembled. She didn't sleep that night. The next morning, she told Malik everything. He wasn't surprised. They're testing you, he said. They want to know if you're afraid. I am afraid, she admitted. Good, he replied. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's choosing to act anyway. A few days later, Malik brought her to a secure military office. There, she met 2 other people, Captain Iqbal, who had served under her father, and a journalist named Mewish, who had once tried to publish the truth but was silenced. Together they showed her the final report her father had compiled before his death. It listed names, high-ranking officials, secret accounts, criminal operations covered by government protection. Your father died trying to give this to the world, Mewish said quietly. And now, it's your choice. Zara stared at the files. Each name was a piece of the puzzle. Each document was a piece of the fire that had almost destroyed her. She knew what she had to do. She began speaking in public again, not just about bullying, but about truth and justice. Small news channels picked up her story, the girl with scars who won't stay silent. At first it was just local. Then, national people began writing to her, thanking her, encouraging her, but with attention came danger. One night, Zara came home to find her room ransacked. Her books were torn. Her walls were spray-painted with threats. Her mother's last photograph had been burned. She fell to her knees. For the first time in weeks, she broke down and cried. Malik arrived within the hour. He stood silently as she sobbed, then helped her pack what was left. You'll stay somewhere safe, he said. We'll find out who did this. Zara nodded, but inside she felt something hardened. They wanted to break her, but they had made her stronger. Days later, she stood at a press conference beside General Malik. The truth about her father's death was revealed. The evidence was shared with the media. People listened. Some cried, some denied it, but the silence was broken. Zara didn't speak with anger. She spoke with dignity. My father died for this country. He tried to protect it. I carry his scars, and I will not let them be in vain." The crowd gave her a standing ovation, but in the back row, a man in a dark suit left quietly. No one noticed him except one person, Faraz. That night, he called Zara. "That man? He was at school last month, watching you." Malik traced the man's photo. He was a known agent, one of the men on her father's list. The danger wasn't over. It had just begun. Zara was moved to a safe location. She continued her education through private tutoring while working with Malik and Mewish. To spread more information, she started a blog, Scars of Truth. It went viral within days. People from across the country started sending their stories. Her courage lit a fire across the nation. Students held rallies. Victims came forward. But the men behind the shadows weren't finished. Another message came this time. A video. It showed Faraz tied to a chair, bruised and bleeding. A voice warned, "Stop now, or he dies." Zara froze. Her hands shook as she played the video again. Her stomach twisted. The world around her blurred. Malik placed a hand on her shoulder. "This is your test," he said. "They want you to give up." She looked at him with tearful eyes. "Then let's make sure they regret trying." They traced the location in the video. It was a warehouse near the old city. Malik assembled a team. Zara insisted on coming. "He's my friend," she said, "and I won't let him suffer because of me." The team prepared for the rescue mission. It had to be quiet, fast, and clean. As the sun set, Zara put on her scarf, hiding her scars. But inside, she was burning with strength. This wasn't just about Faraz anymore. It was about justice, about facing her past, about stepping into the fire again, not to be burned, but to bring light. The van moved silently through the dark streets. Zara sat in the back with her heart pounding. The rescue mission had begun. Every second felt like an hour. Captain Iqbal checked his earpiece. 5 minutes, he whispered. General Malik sat next to him, his eyes cold with focus. Zara clutched the photo of Faraz she had printed from the video. Bruised, tied, afraid. Her hands were shaking, but her voice was steady. "We get him out, no matter what." They reached the warehouse. It stood at the edge of the city, broken and silent like a forgotten ruin. The guards outside smoked cigarettes, unaware of what was coming. Malik gave orders. "Alpha team enters. From the left, Bravo team from the back. No noise, no shooting, unless necessary. Our goal is extraction, not destruction." Zara watched from the surveillance van. She had begged to be part of the team, but Malik refused. "Your job is to stay here and tell the world the truth when we're done." The cameras blinked as the soldiers moved in. One by one, the guards were taken down with silent force. Then the screen flickered. Room 3C. There he was. Faraz, his head was down. He was still alive. Zara whispered, "Please be okay." But just as the soldier reached for him, a hidden alarm blared through the warehouse. Suddenly, everything changed. The kidnappers had prepared for betrayal. Sirens, gunshots, screams. The camera feed went black. Zara stood frozen. "What happened?" she shouted. "Talk to me." Malik's voice came through the radio. "We've been compromised. They were waiting for us." Zara's heart sank. "What do you mean?" "They knew we were coming. We have a mole." In that moment, fear gave way to anger. Someone on their own team had betrayed them. Inside the chaos, Captain Iqbal kicked down the door of room 3C and dragged Faraz out. 2 soldiers covered them. Faraz was barely conscious. Blood dripped from his forehead. "He's safe," Iqbal shouted. "We're moving." Outside, Zara watched the van's monitor as the team fought their way out. Her knuckles were white. She wanted to scream. Suddenly, a second van pulled up beside them. The doors opened. Malik, Iqbal, and Faraz stumbled inside. Zara rushed forward. Faraz, he looked up, blinking. "You came?" His voice cracked. "They said no one would come." Zara held his hand. They were wrong. For now, they had one. But something was very wrong. The trap, the timing, the video sent to her. It was too perfect, too staged. "Someone fed them our plan," Malik said. "Someone close?" Zara knew what that meant. Trust had just become a luxury. The next morning, the media exploded with the news. General's secret mission revealed. Teenage girl rescues friend from kidnappers. Zara's face was blurred in the videos, but everyone knew who she was. She was becoming a symbol, a target online. People supported her, but hate began to grow too. Who does she think she is? Attention seeker. She's using her scars for sympathy. Zara tried not to read the comments, but she couldn't ignore them. She felt it all creeping back, the shame, the fear. She sat alone in her room, staring at the mirror. She touched the scar on her face. It felt deeper now, not because of what people said, but because she knew that someone, somewhere, wanted her dead. That evening, Malik entered her room with a file. "We found something," he said. "It's about your past." Zara sat up. "My past. Your father had another identity. Before he worked in intelligence, he was part of a secret task force. Unit Z, only 5 people knew about it, and all of them have either disappeared or died." "What did they do?" Zara asked. "They exposed war crimes," Malik replied. "Your father's final mission was to expose a traitor, someone who sold state secrets during a border conflict. But he never named the traitor. That's why he was killed." Zara's throat went dry. And you think? They think. I know who it is. Exactly, he said. That's why they're watching you. Because somewhere in your father's files, the truth is buried. Zara opened the file. Inside was a photo of her father with 4 other soldiers. One face stood out, a man in uniform with sharp eyes. Under it, Colonel Adnan. Zara felt her stomach twist. She had seen that face before. He visited our house once, she whispered. Before the fire. Malik nodded. He's a decorated officer now, rising fast. But your father suspected him. If he's the traitor, then he's dangerous. And he knows you're alive. Zara leaned back. The puzzle was becoming clearer. Her father had found a traitor. The traitor found him first, and now he was closing in on her. The next day, Zara returned to school. She insisted. I won't hide, she told Malik. They want me to disappear. I won't give them that. But the school wasn't the same. Everyone looked at her differently. Some with awe, some with fear, others with jealousy. At lunch, a group of girls whispered loudly near her table. Maybe she planned it all. You know? The kidnapping, the story, everything. Zara stood up. Her voice didn't shake. You think I want to be scared every night? That I enjoy having people follow me? But I asked for my face to burn. The cafeteria went silent. She walked out, head high. Outside, Faraz waited. His bruises were healing. They're just scared of what you've become, he said. A girl who speaks truth louder than their gossip. That evening, Zara received an anonymous package at the safe house. Inside was a USB drive. One file. Last words for Zara. It was a video. Her father recorded weeks before his death. He looked tired, serious, but calm. If you're watching this, it means I failed, he said. But you must not. The truth is inside the red notebook. The names, the evidence, everything. Don't trust anyone without scars. Only those who've suffered can understand. The video ended. Zara stared at the screen, red notebook. She ran to her backpack, dug through her old things. There it was. A fire-scorched notebook her mother had once saved from the burned house. She had never opened it since the fire. Hands trembling, she flipped through the pages. Hidden in the back, taped between 2 pages, was a microchip. This is it, she whispered. Malik confirmed it the next day. Encrypted, but we can crack it. But as they worked on decoding the chip, disaster struck that night. The safe house was attacked. Glass shattered, bullets flew. Zara and Malik escaped through the back. The house burned. The microchip was still in Malik's pocket, but they had lost everything else. They drove in silence to a new location. It's him, Malik said. Colonel Adnan. He knows we have the chip. So what do we do now? Zara asked. Malik's eyes narrowed. We go public. We release the names, all of them, and if they come after us, then we make sure the whole world is watching. When they do, the final scene of part 3 ends with Zara logging into her blog. She uploads her father's video, posts the names from the chip, and writes the caption, "My scars didn't silence me. They armed me." As she hits publish, a black SUV pulls up outside. The door handle turns and the screen goes dark. The door handle turned slowly. Zara stood frozen in front of her laptop. Her blog post had just gone live. Her father's final video, the secret names, the evidence, all now public. And outside, a black SUV had arrived. She grabbed the hard doctor with the remaining files and backed away. Her breath quickened. The front door creaked open. Footsteps entered the hallway, slow, heavy. Her heart pounded louder than the sound of the boots on the floor. Suddenly, the door to her room burst open. Zara raised her arm, ready to throw something, anything. "It's me, Captain Iqbal," rushed in, sweating. "Come on." They found this location. Zara grabbed her bag and the hard drive. Iqbal pulled her into the hallway. Malik's waiting outside. "Did you see them?" she asked. 3 cars, unmarked. "We don't have time." They rushed through the back exit. Just as they jumped into Malik's car, gunshots echoed from the street. A window shattered behind them. Zara ducked. Malik hit the accelerator. "Hold on." The car sped through the narrow streets of the old city. Behind them, the black SUVs followed, tires screeching. Iqbal leaned out the window and fired back. "They're not police," he shouted. "Private contractors. Hired by Colonel Adnan," Zara asked. "Worse," Malik replied. "By the people he works for. These men aren't afraid of laws." They turned into an alley. Zara looked behind. One SUV smashed into a wall. Another kept coming. "We can't outrun them," Malik said. "So we lead them somewhere they won't follow." 20 minutes later, they pulled up to an abandoned textile factory outside the city. Malik opened a steel gate and drove inside. He turned off the headlights. "This place was used by Unit Z," he said. "No one knows it still exists." Inside, the team set up makeshift equipment. The hard drive was plugged in. Dozens of encrypted files appeared. "What are these?" Zara asked. "Videos. Reports. Names," Iqbal said. "Looks like your father kept everything." "We're going to upload all of it," Malik said. "To every news outlet, every journalist, every human rights group. No more secrets." Zara nodded. "Then let's finish what he started." As the files decrypted, Zara stepped outside. The night was cold. Stars dotted the sky. She touched her scar. She remembered the fire, the pain, the screams. She had always thought her story ended that night. But now, she realized it began there. Suddenly her phone buzzed. A private number. She hesitated, then answered. A deep voice spoke. Zara, I saw your video. Who is this? She asked. Let's just say, someone who used to know your father. The notebook you posted, that was only half the story. What do you mean? There's another chip. Your father hid it in a place no one would look. Where his medals, the ones burned in the fire. Not all of them were destroyed. Zara's blood ran cold. The voice continued. Check the hollow part behind the biggest medal. He sealed it before he died. Find it before they do. The line went dead. She rushed back inside. Malik, the fire, my father's medals. We still have some of them, don't we? Yes. In storage. Why? He hid another chip inside the medals. Malik and Iqbal exchanged glances. We'll get them now. An hour later, they returned with a small metal box. Burnt, dented, but still intact. Zara opened it with shaking hands. Inside were 3 medals. She picked up the largest one. It felt heavier than it should. Malik took out a small screwdriver, opened the back. A microchip slid out. He really did it, Zara whispered. He left everything. Malik connected. The new chip. More files opened. This time, they weren't just reports. They were videos, conversations, a list of financial transactions. This is a map, Iqbal said. This connects Colonel Adnan to weapons deals, money laundering, and international agents. This could bring down half the command. Zara stared at the screen. Then let's show the world. Malik began sending files. But something was wrong. The connection froze. The server's being blocked, he said. They're jamming us. Can we move to another location? Too late, Iqbal said. Look outside. Through the dusty windows, they saw headlights approaching from all directions. Their stomach dropped. They found us again. Malik loaded the hard drive into a small waterproof case. We split up, he said. They can't stop all of us. Take this. He handed the drive to Zara. There's a hidden tunnel under this factory. It leads to the river. Follow it. Get to the media center in the city. We'll draw them away. No, Zara protested. I won't leave you. You must, Malik said. This is bigger than us now. Iqbal opened the secret hatch. Go now. Zara hugged them both. Come back, she whispered. You're the only family I have left. She ran into the tunnel. Behind her, the sounds of gunfire and shouting filled the night. The tunnel was long and dark. Water dripped from the ceiling. Rats scurried past her feet, but she kept running. Her hands clutched the drive like it was life itself. After half an hour, she emerged near the riverbank. A small boat waited. Inside sat a woman with a scarf over her face. Zara, she asked. Yes, get in. Malik sent me. They sailed through the narrow waters silently. Where are we going? Zara asked. To someone who can help, the woman replied. A general who knew your father. He's been waiting for years to finish this. As the city lights came into view, Zara looked back. Smoke rose from the direction of the factory. Her eyes filled with tears. Had Malik survived? They arrived at a hidden building near the heart of the capital. Inside, Zara was led to a private room. Maps lined the walls. Old photographs. A man stood in the shadows. Slowly, he stepped into the light. Gray hair, sharp eyes, a deep scar across his jaw. He stood tall, strong. He saluted Zara. He said, I knew your father. He saved my life in the war. She handed him the drive. He died for this. The general looked at her, eyes wet. And you lived for it. He turned to the room. We broadcast in 10 minutes. Stay strong. Zara sat in front of the camera. Microphones surrounded her. She took a deep breath. My name is Zara. You may know me as the girl with scars. But these scars are not weakness. They are proof that I survived. That I stood when others fell. That I refused to be silent. Behind her, the screen lit up. Videos played, names appeared, faces, documents. The world watched. The truth was out. In the silence that followed, Zara whispered, You mocked my scars. Now, they are your mirror. At that exact moment, across the city, Colonel Adnan's convoy stopped. At a red light, a young soldier handed him a phone. Sir, we have a problem. On the screen, Zara's face appeared. The broadcast was everywhere. TV, phones, billboards. Adnan's face turned pale. His voice shook. Shut it down. We can't, sir. It's gone global. Adnan stared at the screen, frozen. For the first time, fear filled his eyes. And far from the city, in the burned shell of the textile factory, smoke cleared. Captain Iqbal emerged, wounded but alive. He whispered into his radio. She did it. Zara did not just survive. She won. But as she looked at the camera and finished her message, her phone buzzed again. Another private number. The message read, This isn't over. You've started a war. Zara looked up. Her eyes no longer held fear, only fire. The sun had not yet risen, but the world was already awake. Zara's single quotes S face was everywhere. On televisions, phones, and even posters. Her voice had reached not just the people of her country, but the whole world. Some cried watching her scars shine with pride. Others grew angry. The truth was too raw for some to accept. and deep inside the military compound, chaos had begun. Colonel Adnan smashed his desk with his fist. "How did this happen?" he roared. "She was just a girl." A younger officer trembled. "She has the files, sir. Everything. All our operations, our money trails, and the names." Adnan's face turned pale. "The general, did he help her?" "Yes, sir. He stood behind her in the video. She's protected now." Adnan narrowed his eyes. "Then we remove that protection." Far away, Zara sat in a small, quiet room inside the general's safe house. Her head ached from the pressure, but her heart remained strong. Her phone buzzed again. Another message. This one was a video. It showed a young man blindfolded, beaten. It was Captain Iqbal. Zara gasped. A distorted voice spoke. "Surrender the original drive, or he dies in 24 hours. She rushed to the general. "They've taken Iqbal." The general's face darkened. "They're playing dirty now. We have to save him," she said. He nodded. "We will. But first we must make them bleed where it hurts most." The general led Zara into a steel room underground. Inside were people she had never seen before, men and women in plain clothes, all focused, silent, and serious. "This is Unit Omega," the general said. "They're loyal only to the Constitution. They were your father's last hope, now they're yours." One of them, a woman with short hair and fierce eyes, nodded at Zara. "You've lit the fire. We'll carry it." Zara's voice cracked. "But they've taken Iqbal. I can't lose more people." The woman placed a comforting hand on Zara's shoulder. "Then we get him back, alive." Back at Colonel Adnan's base, Iqbal was chained to a wall in a cold basement. Blood dripped from his lips, but his eyes still held fire. Adnan stood before him. "You're loyal to a child," Adnan sneered. "A scarred girl, a broken name. You think she can fight the system?" Iqbal coughed. "She already has." Adnan struck him across the face. "She will regret this." Meanwhile, Zara and Unit Omega prepared for their mission. They had located Iqbal's last signal, deep within an old intelligence building now, repurposed by Adnan's private militia. The plan was dangerous. Break in, retrieve Iqbal, and plant a hidden transmitter that would send real-time data about Adnan's operations to every major media outlet in the world. The general gave Zara one final piece of advice. "You're not just delivering the truth, you're becoming it." That night Zara put on a black tactical uniform. She tied her hair back. Her scar was visible and proud. "I'm ready," she whispered. The mission began. Unit Omega moved through the shadows, silent as wind. Zara followed closely behind the lead agent, a rebot, the woman with short hair and cold focus. They entered the building through an underground pipe system. Above them, guards chatted, unaware. Zara's hands shook slightly, not from fear, but from anger. Every second Iqbal was inside, hurt because of her burn deeper than her scar. They reached the basement level, through a crack in the door. She saw him chained, weak, but alive. But next to him stood Colonel Adnan. He was talking on the phone, and then, as Zara listened, her world tilted. Adnan said, "Yes, sir, we'll handle her. No one will know she's the daughter of General Rehan." Zara's breath stopped. Her father, General Rehan. But her father was Captain Rehan, not a general. Ariba pulled her back. "What is it?" Zara stared blankly. "Think, my father wasn't who I thought he was." Before she could think further, the guards were alerted. A silent alarm. "Go," Ariba shouted. "We've been seen." The team burst into the room. Smoke bombs exploded, gunshots. Chaos. Zara rushed toward Iqbal. She unchained him quickly. "Iqbal, it's me." His eyes lit up weakly. "You came. I'll always come." But Adnan was already running. Zara grabbed the transmitter. She handed it to Ariba. "You go. I'll stop him." She ran after Adnan through the hallway. He turned back and shot. She ducked. Bullets hit the walls near her head. She chased him to the rooftop. The city lights spread below them. "You don't know what you're doing," Adnan shouted. "You're just a broken girl." Zara stepped forward. "No," she said. "I'm the daughter of the man you feared most. And I'm not broken. I'm the one you couldn't kill with fire." Adnan raised his gun again. Zara pulled out a small flash drive. "This contains everything you've hidden," she said. "And the world already has it." She pressed a button on her phone. A global live stream began. Adnan stared, his crimes, his voice, his orders, his accounts. Everything appeared on screens behind her. He stepped back, shaken. "You've destroyed me," he whispered. Zara nodded. "No," she said softly. "You destroyed yourself. I just showed the world." Sirens filled the air. Military trucks surrounded the building. The real army, loyal to the Constitution, had arrived. Adnan was arrested on the rooftop. Zara walked down slowly, her steps heavy. She found Iqbal sitting on the ground, weak but smiling. "You're a storm," he said. "No," she replied. "I'm just his daughter." Hours later, in the safety of the general's office, Zara asked the one question burning her soul. "Was my father really a general?" The general nodded. "His real identity was hidden. He faked his rank to stay close to the people, to protect you, to keep the truth safe." Zara stared at the photo on the wall. Her father in uniform, the real uniform. Stars on his shoulders, but love in his eyes. She placed her hand on the photo. I'm sorry I never knew. The general placed a medal in her hand. Now you do. Just as peace began to settle, her phone buzzed again. Another unknown number. A voice message this time. You've hurt one of us, but you've awakened all of us. Then silence. Zara looked up. What does that mean? Iqbal asked. Zara whispered. It means the storm is just beginning. Zara sat in the quiet of the general's compound, her eyes fixed on the flickering screen in front of her. The message she received hours ago kept repeating in her mind. You've hurt one of us, but you've awakened all of us. She didn't know who sent it, but the voice was calm to calm. There was no rage, no fear, just ... warning. Captain Iqbal sat across from her, bandaged and bruised, but slowly recovering. He had seen war, pain, betrayal, but something about Zara's silence worried him more than anything. You okay? He asked softly. Zara didn't answer at first. Then she looked up. I think we've started a war. The general walked in right then. He carried a stack of papers, maps, and reports. He looked more tired than usual. His eyes had dark circles, and his uniform was slightly wrinkled. That was rare for him. He dropped the files on the table. Zara, you were right. That message, ... it's not local. It came from abroad, encrypted, military-grade tech. Iqbal stood up. Foreign intelligence. Worse, the general replied. A hidden global network of elites, leaders, businessmen, even military officers who profit from silence. Zara's heart dropped. They know your face now, the general continued. And they don't just want to stop you, they want to erase you. Outside, the media was exploding with support. Zara's video was being replayed everywhere. She had become a symbol especially for girls who once thought they had no voice. Her scar became an image of strength. Street walls were painted with her face. People began calling her the Flame. But inside the safety of the compound, things were far from calm. Unit Omega had intercepted new chatter. A foreign journalist named Ruth Blake had been kidnapped. She had been working with Zara's father years ago, trying to expose the same network. She vanished during a mission in the Middle East. Until now, no one had heard from her. But last night, they found a live feed from a dark cell. She was chained, pale, and weak. But she spoke clearly into the camera. They fear the girl. They fear her name. If she listens carefully, she'll find the final truth hidden where blood once mixed with dust. Then the screen went black. Zara knew what that meant. Her father's last mission had taken him to an abandoned refugee camp near the northern border. No one had gone there in years. The place was destroyed after a bombing, and buried with it were the last files her father had hidden. Zara stood up. We have to go there now. The general was hesitant. It's too dangerous. Iqbal looked at her, then nodded. I'm going with her. The general sighed. Then take Unit Omega. You have 1 day. After that, we may not be able to protect you. The journey was long. They traveled in unmarked jeeps, through rough terrain, avoiding drones and checkpoints. As they approached the destroyed camp, silence fell over them. The air smelled of dust and forgotten stories. Zara stepped out and looked at the broken buildings. Children had once laughed here. Families had once believed this was safety, but war had no mercy. They moved quickly through the rubble, searching for anything: a locker, a steel box, a buried signal. Suddenly, one of the agents called out. They had found a metal case. Inside were old tapes, torn documents, and a sealed envelope with Zara's name on it. Her hands trembled as she opened it. It was a letter from her father. Zara, if you're reading this, it means I failed to finish what I started. But it also means you found the courage to walk where I could not. Were born in fire. Not the one that scarred your face, but the one that gave you your spirit. You were a child when they hurt you, but you became a warrior when you chose to fight. This envelope contains codes to open the main files. Files that prove everything. The child trafficking, the oil wars, the secret arms deals, all connected. These are not crimes of one country. They're global sins, buried deep. One day, when you reveal them, they will laugh at you again. But remember, their laughter hides fear. You are the truth, and the truth never dies. Love always. Baba. Zara couldn't hold back her tears. She clutched the letter to her chest and closed her eyes. But suddenly, gunshots rang out. Snipers from the hills above. The team ducked for cover. Ambush. Ariba shouted. Zara and Iqbal ran behind a collapsed wall, holding the box of documents. A bullet grazed Iqbal's arm. We're trapped, he hissed. No, Zara said. We use this. She connected her satellite device to the encrypted files. She sent a signal directly to the general, uploading everything, she whispered. Another explosion shook the ground. Smoke, fire, screams. Zara activated the auto beacon. It's now or never. In the capital, the general watched as the data poured in. Evidence of war crimes, secret assassinations, corrupt deals involving world leaders. It was massive. He picked up the red phone. Go live, he said. Back at the camp, Zara's hands were shaking. They were surrounded. A shadow moved through the smoke. Wasn't a soldier. It was a man in a suit. His face was cold, his accent American. You were warned, he said. Zara looked up defiant. So were you. Then her earpiece crackled. Zara, it's the general. The files are live. The world is seeing them right now. The man's face froze. You did it, Iqbal said, bleeding but grinning. The man raised a gun. Zara stood in front of Iqbal, but before the shot fired a sharp whistle, then banged. The man fell. Unit Omega had returned with air support. They cleared the area in minutes. Zara collapsed, still holding the letter. That night, in the capital, millions watched as leaders were arrested. Embassies burned their files. Media outlets from around the world reported the biggest leak in modern history. And at the center of it all was a girl with scars. She sat quietly in a hospital bed, holding a cup of tea. Iqbal sat next to her, arm in a sling. You scared me. Today, he said. She smiled. I scared myself. Do you think it's over? He asked. Zara looked out the window. No, she said. This was just the middle. And then her phone buzzed again. A new message. This time, it was a photo of her as a child, before the fire. Underneath it, one line. We knew you before the flames. Her hands went cold. Iqbal looked at her. What is it? She stared at the screen. They knew me. Before I became me. Zara stared at the photo on her phone for a long time. It was a picture of her as a child before the fire, before the scars, before the world changed. She looked so innocent. Soft cheeks, wide eyes, a pink ribbon in her hair. Behind her stood two men in military uniforms, but their faces were blurred. The message below the photo haunted her. We knew you before the flames. It wasn't just a message. It was a door opening into her past, a past she had tried to forget. She sat alone, in the hospital room while Captain Iqbal slept in the chair beside her. The window was slightly open. Wind moved the curtains gently, as if whispering memories back into the room. Zara zoomed in on the picture, focusing on the pink ribbon. It triggered something in her. She was 5 years old. There had been a garden her mother had brought her there every Friday. They fed the birds. They sang songs. One day, her father came late and argued with her mother in a loud voice. She remembered hiding behind a tree, clutching her ribbon. That day, men had come. They were supposed to be guests, but shots were fired. Her mother's scream was the last sound she remembered before the fire started. Everything after that was a blur of burning and silence. Zara gasped and dropped the phone. Her breath quickened. Her scarred hand touched her chest. Her heart was racing. She had always believed her scars came from an accident. But what if they were part of something more? What if her past was not just painful, but dangerous? The general entered the room with a serious expression. He looked at Zara's pale face. You saw the message? She nodded. Who are the men in the photo? He sat down slowly. You were born into a family connected to something much bigger than you. Your father was not just a military informant. He was part of a secret mission, a project to protect war-zone children from being used by foreign intelligence agencies. Zara blinked. I was a target. The general nodded. Yes, because you were proof. Your father hid you after the fire and gave you a false identity. Even I didn't know who you really were until now. Iqbal woke up, rubbing his eyes. What's going on? Zara looked at him, her voice shaking. I think I'm not who I thought I was. The general handed over a small black envelope. This was just recovered from an old military bunker we never knew existed. It contains your original birth certificate and a memory card. Zara opened the envelope. The name on the certificate hit her like a wave. Zara Suleiman. She felt dizzy. My real name. The general leaned forward. Your father was Major Suleiman, a respected intelligence officer. He vanished after uncovering a joint operation involving international child soldiers. The project was illegal. And you? You were the proof it existed. Zara played the video from the memory card. It was grainy footage, a hidden camera, a meeting room, foreign military men and government officials arguing. One said, if the girl lives, we're exposed. Another replied, we'll say it was an accident. And then her father's voice shouted from behind the camera, you won't touch her. The video ended. Zara sat frozen. Her father had died protecting her. Her scars were not random, they were punishment. And now, the people who hurt her back then were watching her again. That night, the hospital was surrounded by plainclothes security officers. Unit Omega was on high alert, but it wasn't enough. At midnight, the power went out. Zara's room went dark. She stood up, heart pounding. Iqbal reached for his weapon. A faint sound came from the hallway. Then a voice from the intercom. Zara? Come alone, or more people will suffer for your memories. The general stormed in. We're evacuating now. But Zara held up her hand. No, this ends tonight. I'll go alone. Iqbal asked. Zara turned to him. I have to know the truth. The whole truth. If I run now, they'll keep coming. If I stay hidden, more people will die. The general's face was stone. You won't be alone, he said. You'll have us watching every second. They set up a plan. Zara walked out into the darkness wearing a hidden transmitter. The signal would stay connected as long as she remained within city limits. She was told to meet at an old shipping dock near the edge of the river. The night was cold. Fog rolled in, hiding shadows and danger. Zara's footsteps echoed as she approached the dock. A black van was parked nearby. Two men stepped out, dressed in suits. One spoke. Zara Suleiman. We wondered how long it would take for the truth to surface. Zara's voice didn't shake. Why did you burn my life down? The man smiled. Because you were born into the wrong room at the wrong time. You were a child holding evidence. You were ... a threat. Zara took a step forward. Not anymore. Now I'm a flame. He pulled out a tablet and pressed a button. Suddenly, a large screen turned on set up on the dock. It showed Zara's father in a military facility, being beaten, then interrogated, then shot. Zara stared at the screen, tears in her eyes, but her jaw clenched. You thought showing me that would break me? She said quietly. The man sneered. It should, but it didn't, she replied, because I'm not just a girl with scars. I'm a legacy, and your fear proves that. Suddenly, gunshots. Unit Omega had surrounded the dock. The men panicked. The general's voice came over the radio. Zara, duck. She hit the ground as bullets flew. Iqbal rushed in, covering her. 10 minutes later, it was over. The 2 men were arrested. The files in the van were seized. Inside them, proof of a global child soldier program hidden for over a decade. Zara sat on the dock afterward, the wind blowing through her hair. She looked at her scar and the reflection on the water. I'm not a victim, she whispered. The general stood beside her. No, he said. You're a storm. But just as the team prepared to return, Zara's phone buzzed again. A new video. This time, a woman's face appeared. Sharp eyes, long gray hair. She spoke directly into the camera. You've come far, little flame, but you're still only seeing one layer. There's one truth left. The one your father died protecting. Then the screen turned black. Underneath, it come to the place where the stars bled red. Alone. Zara looked up at the sky. The stars were bright, but the message made her feel cold. Iqbal looked over. You okay? She nodded. No, but I have to go. Zara sat in silence inside the armored vehicle, her fingers tightly wrapped around a small note she had written before leaving. It was for Iqbal, in case she didn't return. She had insisted on going alone. The general had argued. Iqbal had almost yelled, but she was firm. She said, I have to come alone, Zara whispered. If this is the final key to everything my father died for, I must face it myself. They didn't like it, but they respected her choice. She was no longer a broken girl hiding behind fear. She was now the one people followed. The message had said, come to the place where the stars bled red. Only one place matched that name, a hilltop once used for secret military testing. Years ago, a failed weapon experiment had turned the night sky crimson. Locals remembered it as the Hill of the Red Sky. It had been abandoned for years. But tonight, it waited. The wind howled as Zara walked up the hill, flashlight in hand, her scarf tied tight around her face to block the dust. Her heartbeat matched the rhythm of her boots on the broken path. As she reached the top, she saw a figure sitting on a rock near an old rusted tower. It was the woman from the video. Silverhair.com/deadly stillness. You came, the woman said, standing slowly. Her voice was smooth, almost kind. Zara stood tall. I want the truth. You already have parts of it, the woman replied, but not the end. Then give it to me. The woman pointed to a small concrete bunker nearby. Inside is everything. Your father's real mission, the operation he uncovered, and something more. Something he built for you. Zara narrowed her eyes. Why are you helping me? Because I'm tired of pretending, the woman said, and because I owe your father a debt I can never repay. Zara walked toward the bunker, her pulse quickening. Inside, the air was cold. Dust covered every surface. Old papers lay scattered, moldy and torn, but on one table was a metal briefcase, locked with a hand scanner. Zara placed her palm on it, not expecting anything, but the scanner beeped green. The lock clicked open. Inside, she found an old leather journal and a small box. She opened the journal. Her father's handwriting filled the pages. To my daughter, Zara, if you're reading this, it means you survived, and it means I failed to stop them, but you are stronger than me, strong enough to finish what I started. Zara blinked back tears and kept reading. They are building something, not just soldiers, children who are trained from birth to think, fight, and obey, across borders, across governments, a hidden alliance of power, working together in secret, even while pretending to be enemies on TV. I saw it, I filmed it, and I knew they'd kill me before they let me speak. The last page had a map drawn by hand, with a red mark labeled, the nursery. Zara closed the journal slowly, her hands shook. The woman behind her spoke gently. He tried to destroy it, but he failed. The place still exists. The nursery trains children to be invisible weapons. The future of silent wars. Zara looked up. And you're part of them. I was, the woman admitted. Until your father made me see what I had become. I helped him hide you. I helped fake the fire that made them think you died. But I couldn't stop the others. I couldn't stop the program. Zara stared at the journal. Then I will. Suddenly, a shot rang out. Zara ducked, rolling behind a metal table. The woman gasped, clutching her side. She'd been shot. Voices shouted outside. Armed men flooded the bunker entrance. Zara crawled to the corner, pulling the small box from the briefcase. The woman whispered, go, through the back tunnel. It leads to the valley. They don't know it exists, but you go. Zara hesitated only a second before diving into the narrow escape tunnel behind a wall panel. She crawled on hands and knees in the dark. Behind her, the sound of gunfire exploded. then silence. She emerged into the valley beneath the hill. The stars above looked normal, but inside, Zara burned. She opened the small box. Inside was a flash drive. She turned it over in her hand. A note taped to the back said, "Play this when you're ready to start the war of truth." By morning, she was back at the base. The general looked at her, stunned. "Are you hurt?" "No," she said, exhausted. "But I have what we need." Iqbal stepped forward. "Where's the woman?" Zara's eyes were cold. "Gone. She gave her life for this." She placed the journal and flash drive on the table. The general opened the files. His eyes widened. "These are operations, locations, names, funding routes. If we go public with this, they'll hunt us all." Iqbal finished. Zara stood firm. "Let them." Just then, an encrypted message came through their system. No sender. Just one sentence. "You just lit the fuse." Attached was a video. The same two men arrested earlier, both found dead in their holding cells. Staged as suicide. But Zara knew better. Someone was cleaning the trail. The general closed the laptop slowly. "It's begun," he said. Zara nodded. "Let it burn." The sky was heavy with clouds as Zara stood before the press room. 100 cameras were waiting. Her hands were shaking, but her heart was steady. This was the moment. The flash drive from her father, the files, the truth it was all about. To go public. Inside the room, the general looked uneasy. Iqbal checked the laptop one last time. Miss Sena stood beside Zara, holding a backup copy in case anything went wrong. Zara took a deep breath. "Are you sure about this?" the general asked quietly. "Yes," she whispered. "Once the truth is out, they can't erase it." He nodded, stepped aside. Zara walked to the podium, lights blazing into her eyes. She started speaking, voice soft but clear. "My name is Zara. You may know me as the girl who disappeared in the fire. You may know me by the scars on my face. But today, I stand here not as a victim, I stand as a witness." She held up the journal. "This belonged to my father, Colonel Hamid. He was killed not in war but in silence. He discovered something they wanted hidden forever." Then she placed the flash drive into the laptop. A live projection flashed on the screen behind her. Maps, names, photographs, locations of secret camps. Across different nations, the world thinks these countries are enemies. But behind closed doors, they work together, training children as weapons, manipulating conflicts, building silent armies. Gasps filled the room. Reporters started typing fast, questions flying, but then the screen turned black. A loud, high-pitched sound echoed. The laptop sparked and died. Miss Anna screamed, dropping the backup drive. It shattered on the floor. Heart dropped. "No, no." A voice came through the speakers. It wasn't from the laptop. It was being broadcasted into the building. "You were warned, Zara." People froze. Then the lights cut out. Complete darkness. Screams. Security rushed in. Zara was pulled behind a wall by Iqbal. He shoved a pistol into her hands. "We've been compromised." "How?" she gasped. "The network was offline. They have someone inside," he said. "They knew we'd go public today." Gunshots outside the door. Panic in the hallway. The general was shouting orders to soldiers, trying to evacuate the press. Zara's ears rang. All she could think of was the destroyed drive. "The only proof. They'll say I made it all up," she whispered. Misana ran up, breathless. "One copy remains." "What?" "The woman who helped your father, she sent me a secure link before she died. I saved it on a hidden server." Zara grabbed her. "Where? Not here. Too risky. We need to move." They escaped through the underground garage just as the building exploded behind them. Zara turned back in horror. The place where she had almost exposed everything. Gone. Black smoke rose into the night sky. She clenched her fists. "They want war in the shadows," she muttered. "I'll bring them into the light." They drove 4 hours to an old observatory in the hills. Abandoned since the last earthquake but still stable. Iqbal secured the perimeter. The general set up a new communication line. Messena opened the secret link. Inside was everything: video, proof, scanned pages, audio files, signed orders. Zara stared at the screen. This was enough to bring governments down. But then she noticed something, a folder labeled Red Room Phase 2. "What's this?" she asked. Miss Sena hesitated. "We never opened that one. It was encrypted too deep." Iqbal cracked it open. Inside were videos. Zara clicked one and gasped. The screen showed a room filled with children, each one with marks on their faces. Scars like hers. A voice spoke in the background. "These are the next generation. Smarter, stronger, emotionless, trained to follow code, not conscience." Then she saw him, a boy, maybe 10 years old. His face looked familiar, very familiar. Her heart skipped. She zoomed in. No, it couldn't be, but it was. Her brother, the one she thought died in the fire. Tears ran down her face. "He's alive," she whispered. "They took him." The general stared in shock. "That means," Zara's voice trembled, "they never meant to kill me. I was a test that escaped. But my brother, he became what they wanted." She turned to the others. "I need to find him." Iqbal frowned. "We don't even know where he is." "Yes, we do," Miss Sena interrupted. "Look at the metadata in this file. Coordinates. Somewhere deep in the mountains near the northern border." Zara stood. "I'm going." The general blocked her. You won't make it alone. We don't know what's waiting there. Zara looked him straight in the eye. He's my brother. I'd walk through fire again if I have to. Night fell. They packed supplies. Zara sat alone for a moment, holding the only photo she had of them as kids. She remembered his laugh, his kindness. He was the only one who never teased her scars. If they'd turned him into a soldier without a soul, then this fight was even bigger than she thought. She wouldn't just expose a system, she'd bring back her brother from the darkness. As she prepared to leave, a message pinged on their secure line, encrypted. But Zara recognized the pattern. It was the same symbol carved in her father's old notebook. She opened the message. One sentence blinked on the screen. He doesn't remember you, but he knows how to kill you. Zara closed the laptop. Her eyes didn't flinch. I'll make him remember, she whispered, even if it costs me everything. The cold wind of the northern mountains hit Zara like knives as she stepped out of the jeep. Snow crunched beneath her boots. Her breath came out in small clouds. She looked up at the vast frozen landscape, her heart pounding. Iqbal placed a hand on her shoulder. This is where the signal ends. The facility is buried under that ridge. Miss Sana checked the map again. It's protected with ground sensors, motion traps, and maybe even biometric security. Zara's eyes stayed locked on the mountain ahead. That's where my brother is. I can feel it. The general's voice came over the comms. No one's ever made it inside that place and come back. Be careful. Zara nodded. I didn't come this far to turn back. The climb was brutal. Ice-covered rocks, hidden pits. Every step could be death. But Zara didn't stop. She remembered her brother's laugh. His face in the video, cold, distant, like a machine. She wouldn't let them keep him like that. As they neared the hidden entrance, Iqbal spotted something. A vent small, but just wide enough to crawl through. Zara slid inside first. The metal walls were freezing. The air was stale. The tunnel twisted down for what felt like hours. And then light. They dropped into a hallway clean white. Too quiet. Miss Sana whispered. We're inside the red room. They moved silently, hiding behind walls, ducking past patrols in black armor. Zara saw rooms filled with sleeping children, all with surgical scars. Some were hooked to machines. Others were training in silence. Her stomach turned. They weren't just building soldiers. They were erasing humanity. Finally, they found a control room. Iqbal hacked into the system. He pulled up files logs of each subject. Zara leaned in, eyes scanning fast. There's subject 023, name unknown, male age 18, codename Echo. She opened the profile, confirmed, recruited from Lahore. Severe burn injuries, deep trauma, current status, squad leader. A photo loaded. Her brother, his eyes empty. Zara felt her knees weaken. Miss Sana helped her stay up. You're close now. Where is he? Zara asked. Iqbal pointed. Training. Arena 3, but you won't like what's next. Arena 3 was massive, built like a war zone. Concrete walls, ruined cars, smoke machines, loud alarms. Soldiers trained inside using real weapons. Zara saw him, standing tall, wearing dark armor, giving commands in perfect.com. He had a scar under his eye, a cold expression, and he didn't blink once. Zara stepped out of the shadows, his head turned. For a moment, nothing. Then he raised his hand, and all trainees stopped moving. He walked toward her, face emotionless. She took a step forward. It's me, she whispered. Zara, your sister. He stopped. His eyes narrowed. Echo does not have a sister, he said. Her heart shattered. They told you that, but they lied. He raised a gun. I was trained to eliminate threats. Tears streamed down her face. I was the one who pulled you from the fire. I carried you out. I begged them to save you. You were my whole world. He blinked. His gun lowered an inch, but then a loud alarm rang out. A voice shouted, Intruder. In Sector 3, eliminate immediately. The lights flashed red. Soldiers stormed the arena. Miss Sana screamed. Zara hesitated, but Iqbal pulled her back. He's not ready. We'll lose everything if we die now. They escaped through a back door as bullets flew. Zara looked back one last time. Her brother was standing still, watching. Expressionless. But he didn't fire. They made it to a storage room, locked the door, hid behind crates. Zara was shaking. He's in there, trapped inside himself. They've destroyed his memories. Iqbal was breathing hard. We can't save him unless we take this place down. Miss Sana stared at a glowing, red file she'd copied from the control room. It's worse than we thought, she whispered. What now? Zara asked. She opened the file. Phase 3. Initiate global cleanse. Under it were launch codes, nuclear bioagents, cyber attacks. Zara's hands flew to her mouth. They're not just training soldiers, they're preparing for a world war. Miss Sana continued. These kids, they're not meant to serve a country, they're meant to take down all governments. One after the other. Zara grabbed the radio. General, do you copy? Static. General, more static. We've been hit. We've been hit. Communications jammed. You're on your own. Iqbal cursed. They were cut off. Zara stood. Then we destroy this place ourselves. Miss Sana stared. You'll die. So be it, Zara said. But I won't let another child become a ghost like me. She looked at the facility map. There's a core control room near the basement. If we can reach it, we can disable everything and send out the final file to the world. Then let's move, Iqbal said. They made their way through the narrow halls. More children watched them from behind glass. Silent, empty dots. Zara touched the glass. I'll free you, she whispered. In the basement they found the control room, but it was locked behind a biometric scanner. Only high-ranking codes would work. I need Echo, Zara said. Miss Sana blinked. He's the only one with access. Zara nodded. I'll bring him. Zara? No, Iqbal protested, but she was already gone. She returned to the arena. He was still there alone. She walked slowly, hands raised. No weapons, just me. He turned, still cold. I was told you're dangerous, he said. They lead, she whispered. I was your sister before they rewired your mind. I remember fire, he muttered. Yes, she said. And I remember how you begged me not to let go. I didn't, he frowned. Your name is Az. He flinched. A small twitch. Something behind his eyes flickered. Suddenly alarms again. A voice blared, Echo. Eliminate the target. Now he gritted his teeth, gun shaking. I can't. Zara walked to him, tears in her eyes. I forgive you. She took his hand. He dropped the gun and whispered, sis. But before she could speak, a shot rang out. Zara gasped. Blood spilled from his shoulder. He'd taken the bullet meant for her. A soldier had fired from the upper deck. Zara screamed. Aslan turned and fired. 3 shots. Precision. Perfect. The enemy dropped. He turned back to her. I remember you now. Together, they ran to the control room. Azlan scanned his hand. Door opened. Inside, Iqbal had prepped the data. Zara pressed the send button. All files uploaded to every major news network around the world. The truth was out. But then, the building shook. They've triggered a self-destruct, Miss Sana shouted. 5 minutes left. Zara turned to her brother. Can you walk? He smiled, blood dripping. Only if you carry me like before. She laughed through tears. Always. They escaped through the emergency shaft, just as the facility exploded behind them. They rolled down the mountain, smoke rising in the distance. Zara held her brother. We did it. Aslan, weak but smiling, whispered, I knew you'd come back. But just as she turned to the others, Miss Sana was gone. A note lay where she stood. I had to make a trade. I'm sorry. They still want Aslan, and now, they want you too. Zara looked up in terror. A red laser dot appeared on her chest. She froze. Someone was watching, from far, far away. The red laser hovered on Zara's chest. For a moment, everything around her froze. Iqbal raised his weapon, eyes scanning the snowy mountain ridge, but he saw nothing. Aslan, barely conscious from the gunshot wound, tightened his grip on her sleeve. Don't move, Iqbal whispered. Sniper. Zara didn't flinch. She stared straight ahead, breathing slowly, forcing her body to remain calm. Then, just as quickly as it had appeared, the laser vanished. She let out a slow breath, but her hands were shaking. We've been marked, she said. No, Iqbal corrected. You've been marked. They moved down the mountain, cold wind cutting into their bones. Aslan limped heavily, still bleeding. Miss Sana's sudden disappearance left an ache in the group, a sense that something had cracked in their trust. She left that note. Zara said again, as if trying to make sense of it. She said they wanted you, and me. Who's they? Aslan asked weakly. I thought we destroyed them. No, Iqbal said grimly. The Red Room was only a lab. The people funding this, the real architects, they're still out there. Zara's face hardened. Then I want names. 2 days later, they reached the safe house. It was buried deep in a forest, far from satellites, signals, and cities. General Farid was waiting for them. He looked at Aslan, wide with relief and shock. He's alive. He remembered me, Zara said quietly. Aslan gave a small nod. That the general walked closer. I trained your father, he said softly to Aslan. You have his strength. Zara's eyes narrowed. You told me my parents were civilians. My mother was a teacher. The general turned away. They were both agents, he admitted, deep undercover. Your father was my best operative. Your mother was something even greater. Zara stepped forward. Tell me everything. He looked into her eyes. You were never just another child in the system. Your parents faked your deaths after a botched mission. They hoped to hide you from their enemies. But someone found your trail, that explosion, those scars. It wasn't an accident. Zara's breath caught. Aslan gripped her hand. Then, all of this was targeted, she asked. Yes, the general said. You're the last piece of something they lost, something they want back. Iqbal pulled up a hacked file on his tablet. Before the Red Room blew, we downloaded partial blueprints and code names. There's another location, not a lab, an archive. A storage unit for blackmail files, memory devices, and DNA vaults. Zara's eyes widened. You think? They still have my mother. The general didn't answer, but the silence said enough. Zara stood. Then we go there next. Aslan coughed. You're not going without me. You can barely walk, but I can still shoot, he said, smiling faintly. The team prepared to leave, but just as they were about to move, an explosion ripped through the ground outside. The cabin, Flames shot into the sky. Bullets flew in from the trees. A black ops unit swarmed the safe house. Zara screamed. Ambush. Everyone ducked behind furniture. Aslan dragged himself toward a hidden trapdoor. Escape tunnel. He shouted. Zara, help the general down first. Then Iqbal then pushed Aslan through. Just as she climbed down, a black figure dropped through the window. Behind her, she spun. Knife ready. The figure didn't attack. It handed her a device. Then, whispered, from Sana, run. Then it vanished into smoke. Zara clutched the device and fled into the tunnel as fire engulfed the safe house. Inside the narrow tunnel, coughing and running, she finally opened the device. It was a miniature projector. Blue hologram of Miss Sana appeared. If you're seeing this, Sana said, I had to make a trade with one of the old architects. They agreed to spare you in return for my silence. But I didn't give them everything. Zara's eyes filled with tears. Sana continued, the final truth lies in the citadel. It's buried beneath the capital. Beneath the city everyone thinks is clean inside is the identity of the one who built all of this. The one who started the Red Room. The one who knew you before your parents disappeared. Aslan leaned forward. Who is it? Sana's voice dropped. A general. Everyone turned toward Farid. He froze. No, he whispered. Not me. Zara stepped toward him, heart racing. Then who? The hologram showed a blurred image. A man in uniform. His face hidden, but one thing was clear. He wore the same medal as Farid. Zara's voice trembled. That medal. Only top generals have it. Farid looked away. There's one man left who outranked me. One man who vanished after the collapse of the old intelligence service. Iqbal asked, what's his name? Farid hesitated. Then he said it. General Aslan blinked. He's a ghost. A rumor. No, Farid replied. He's alive. And he's the one who designed the Red Room. The experiments, the memory wipes, the trauma conditioning. He believes scars made stronger soldiers. Hands curled into fists. He did this to my family. Yes, Farid said. And if you go after him, he'll destroy you. Zara looked straight at him. Then we're finally on the right path. They reached the end of the tunnel and emerged in a graveyard at the edge of the forest. Zara looked back at the smoke rising behind them. Iqbal checked the tracker. If we move tonight, we reach the capital by morning. Aslan whispered, are you ready? Zara didn't answer. She stared at the city lights in the far distance, and in her mind, she saw her mother's face. Then her younger self scarred, abandoned, mocked. And finally, the blurred image of the general who built the Empire of Pain. We find the citadel, she said, and we bring him into the light. But just as they moved, a silent drone passed overhead. It stopped, and its speaker spoke one line. Zara, ... Your mother is alive. Everyone froze. Zara stared up. What? The voice repeated, clearer. Your mother is in the citadel, but if you come, ... she dies. Then the drone exploded. The screen turned black. Zara's heart pounded as the team moved closer to the capital city. The weight of every secret, every scar, every betrayal pressed on her like never before. The citadel lay beneath the city, a hidden fortress filled with answers and danger. Checked the map again. The entrance is under the old subway station, abandoned for years. Aslan flexed his wounded arm. Then that's where we go. The General Farid stood silently, watching the skyline. Zara's eyes met his. You're ready for this? He nodded. I've been waiting for years. They entered the subway station. Darkness swallowed them. Their flashlights cut through the silence. Every step echoed. Miss Sana's last message played in Zara's mind. The one who built this empire. General Akram, your father's greatest enemy. The deeper they went, the colder the air became. The tunnel walls felt like they were closing in. Suddenly, a voice boomed. Welcome, Zara. Lights flickered on. Standing before them was a man, in a pristine military uniform, cold eyes, a cruel smile. General Akram. Zara's breath caught. He stepped forward. I've been waiting for you. Your scars tell a story of survival, but survival is weakness. Iqbal raised his weapon. Akram laughed. Put those away. This is not a fight you can win with guns. He motioned, and hidden doors opened, revealing rows of monitors. Each showed a piece of Zara's past, her family, her pain. I built the Red Room to create perfect soldiers. Children like you, shaped by fire and fear. Your father tried to stop me, but I am the future. Zara's voice was steady. Your future is broken. Akram smiled. You think your father was a hero? He was a traitor who threatened the empire. I serve. Zara shook her head. He was a protector, and I am his legacy. Suddenly, screens showed a live feed. Her mother, alive but weak, held captive in a glass chamber. Your mother is alive, Akram said calmly, but if you try to save her, she dies. Zara's fists clenched. The general stepped forward. Zara, the chamber is rigged with explosives. Any movement triggers them. Akram's voice was cold. Make your choice. Zara looked at Aslan. We end this. Aslan nodded. Together, they moved fast. Iqbal disabled some traps. Zara hacked into the control panel. Her hands trembled as she typed. Explosions. Started. Akram triggered the countdown. The room shook. Zara reached the chamber. Her mother's eyes met hers. Tears flowed silently. Zara, her mother whispered. Coming. Zara said. Akram appeared, blocking the way. Your mother is not a victim, he said. She chose this life. Zara stared at him. You lie, Akram laughed. She is my ally. And you will join us or lose everything. Suddenly, Aslan fired. Akram dodged. A fierce fight began. Zara focused on the control panel. She pressed the final override. The countdown stopped. Ak roared in anger. Zara ran to her mother's side. The glass chamber hissed. Open. Her mother stepped out, weak but alive. She smiled faintly. You saved me, she said. Zara held her tightly. Suddenly, Akram lunged. Iqbal tackled him. The General Farid joined the fight. Together, they subdued Akram. Before he could speak, Zara looked him in the eyes. This ends now. The team escaped as alarms blared. Outside, news cameras awaited. Zara stepped forward. She told the world everything. About the Red Room. About a KRAM. About the lies, the pain, and the truth. Her scars were no longer marks of shame. They were symbols of survival and hope. Days later, Zara, Aslan, and their mother stood together. Iqbal and the general beside them. The world watched as Zara promised to fight for those who could not. Her journey had begun with pain, but it ended with strength. Scars remained, but so did the light.